This question was tackled repeatedly in various ways. But this time he says, I'm from Sri Lanka, and in my country people strictly follow the school of thought of Imam Shafi'i. May Allah have mercy on him. In this school of thought, touching a woman breaks your wudu, ablution. So when Sri Lankans go for Hajj, they make intention to become Hanafis at the airport, so that they won't undergo the ruling of Imam Shafi'i with regards to touching women. And then when they finish their Hajj, when they return, they change back to Shafi'i. May Allah guide us to what's best. This is sad and funny, meanwhile. It's like, these are different religions. And we stated repeatedly before that these Imams were searching for the truth. If Imam Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on him, was alive today, and you've got the profound and the sound proofs that oppose his opinion, he would disregard his view right away. And he's done that repeatedly in his life. And that's why with Al-Imam Shafi'i himself, we've got Al-Qadim and Al-Hadith, which means his view in the old madhab and his view in the new madhab, based on the available references. As far as this particular view of touching a woman and whether it breaks one's wudu or not, this is basically due to the understanding of the scholars, and particularly the interpreters of the Quran, to two verses in the Quran. One is in Surah An-Nisa and the other is in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Both are talking about one term, which is أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء. In Surah An-Nisa, for instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِن كُنْتُم مَرْضَى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم إن الله كان عفوا غفورا. That's verse number 43, as I said. The other verse is verse number 6 of Surah Al-Ma'idah, which also mentions the term أو لامستم النساء. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Abdullah ibn Abbas, Turjuman al-Quran, may Allah be pleased with them, and others of At-Tabi'een, all reported that the word أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء is a metaphor, and it refers to the actual meaning here, which is al-jima' or having a sexual intercourse. So the ayah says that in case you are in a state of major impurity and there is no water, there are 4 states that the ayah talked about. إن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء. So it talks about whether the minor or the major impurity. So they said أو لامستم النساء, in case you had an intercourse with your spouse, which right away it mandates a ghusl in order to lift the major impurity. So what happens if there is no water? فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. In this case, you may seek the tayammum by soaking your hands against the pure dust in your hands and face. That will lift the major impurity, exactly similar to what the wudu does in order to lift the minor impurity, and what the ghusl does in order to remove the major impurity. And Imam Shafi'i was one of those who took the term lamastum literally. Al-lams in Arabic is to touch. Al-lams is to touch. So he said, a man touches a woman, even if this woman is his own wife, that would require him to perform wudu. He cannot in this case pray unless if he makes a new wudu. We will learn in a little bit whether this opinion is absolutely true or there is another opinion which is better and more correct. Who would answer us best in this regard? I believe it would be any of the wives or the daughters of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we have a hadith in this regard in which Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, and others narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon going to the masjid, he would kiss his wife. So he would have tahara, and while he's going to the masjid, he would give his wife a farewell kiss, and he would not make a new wudu. So what does this indicate? It indicates that touching a woman or even giving her a hug, I'm talking about a woman who's lawful for you, or a mahram, would not invalidate your wudu. Or even if she's not your mahram, but I'm talking about what's lawful for you. Because it is not permissible for a man to touch a woman who's not lawful for him, nor is she his mahram, without a barrier, of course. But now, this hadith and other hadith indicate that the Prophet ﷺ did not really have to make any wudu. So the opinion of the Jumhur and the opinion of Abdullah ibn Abbas and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Mujahid and Ikrimah of At-Tabi'in and others is more correct in this regard. That the word أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء means or refers to the jima', rafath, or having an intercourse with your spouse. That would require ghusl. In case that there is no water, you can resort to tayammum instead, and that would be sufficient. It does not refer to mere touch or the literal touch, which would require ablution in order to lift the minor impurity. So, even if you are Shafi'i al-Madhab, you studied the Madhab of Imam Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on him, you're not required to comply with this opinion because we have the more correct view. What's not accepted at all is when you shop for fatwa based on the easiest. So following the concessions in different madhahib, the scholar said this is an act of rebelliousness. An act of rebelliousness. The Prophet ﷺ in the hadith, in the sound hadith, which is narrated by the mother of the believers, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, said, ما خير رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين أمرين إلا اختار أيسرهما ما لم يكن إثما. Whenever the Prophet ﷺ had that choice between two matters, he would always choose the easier one as long as it is not prohibited, as long as it is not disliked. So if I have two things, two views, both are sound, but one is easier, I would take the easier one if both are correct. When I have one which is relying on weak ahadith or relying on mere conclusion or ijtihad, but now a sound hadith or a better understanding in the light of the available evidences evolved, then I must abide with the sound opinion. It is not permissible to shop for the easier fatwas, like, and this is very common in the States, for instance. Local people, Muslims who are immigrants, they wait for visiting imams or shuyukh. Somebody is coming from Pakistan, from Egypt, from India, from Saudi. They ask the same set of questions, okay? And whenever any of the imams, so this question has been asked tons of times, but whenever any of them said, yes, it is halal, even if he's not fully aware of the complete picture, they say, well, Imam so-and-so said it is halal, and now they author books and they publish it and they circulate the fatwa. Why? Because 1 out of 10 or 20 or 100 said it is halal. Maybe he's not fully aware. And on the other hand, those who are very strict, they would take the view of any person who says it is haram for something which is maybe permissible, and they want to impose it on others. Neither this nor that is accepted. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam.